Hello and happy, if you live in the Delaware Valley, rainy Wednesday to everybody out there. Welcome in to the PHLY Phillies podcast. Jamie Lynch, Renee Washington, Tyler Zulli. I know rain's an important part of the ecosystem and all that, but man, it really just sucks the fun out of a day, doesn't it?
It drastically
Unless you have
changes
nothing
your
to do, then
mood.
it's, like,
And I
kinda
always
cool.
say this. Look, I like rain just like I like snow, but I like it best when I can be inside with nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Not when you have to be outside and in.
Can't we just get like little 4-hour windows of rain? When we get rain lately, it's like a day and a half
It'll be like
to 2.5 days.
Yeah,
it's
like this
just
entire week has been a rainy, cloudy, chilly week. It's hard because when it's sunny and warm out, you're just more motivated to do things. Life is more pleasant and you're happier. It just drastically changes, at least my mood. But
I didn't look at the report for tonight. Do we have rain around game time?
it's supposed to rain. It keeps changing. That's what makes it worse. I don't know what's worse, to be honest. But as of now, it is supposed to rain all the way until about 6 o'clock. And then it's supposed to die down around 7. So right around game time.
Okay, cool.
We have a question mark of whether or not we're going to have rain. So yay.
Well, Tyler, our day is not all bad because we are getting Angelo's Pizza for dinner tonight and cheesesteaks. So our day's already looking up all of a sudden. But the
food
Phillies
makes things a lot better. Good food.
Yeah, they really do. And Angelo's is the absolute best. Good morning to everybody in the chat. I see K-Red and Chris Slemmer and the name I can't read out because the lights are too bright, and Provolone John and Trevor. Thanks for being in here. Who's that Phillies?
Phillies. The Phillies person is Matthew H.
Matthew H.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
what do you say, Matthew H?
Good
Sorry,
afternoon.
I could not read your name.
Good morning.
Yes,
Good
the
day.
Phillies are a wagon. They are the first team in Major League Baseball to 30 wins. I'm not going to get sick of saying that. We will get into the discourse from salty, sad Atlanta fans, which I find very amusing. And I'm excited for our guest today joining us at 11:30. And Josh Tolentino's in the chat. Good morning, Josh. 11:30, Tyler Kepnar, who covers the MLB. He's a local guy from right here in our own backyard for The Athletic, is going to be joining us. So looking forward to talking some baseball with him. Renee, before we get started, it's a happy birthday out there for a guy who's playing himself into I would say, a pretty critical role on this team. And once Trey Turner comes back from injury, it's going to turn into a little bit of a decision here. Christian Pache has also stepped up. You would think those are the last two guys on the roster because Garrett Stubbs isn't going anywhere, even though you want to check out his MLB Savant page. Woo! Christian Pache and Cody Clemens is probably going to become an interesting discussion when Turner gets back. Now, I would imagine Pache stays because Clemens still has options. But Cody Clemens, whose birthday it is, what is he, 25?
26.
Is playing himself into a really kind of important role on this team. Is left-handed, has pop, can play first, second, third, corner outfield, can emergency catch. He's kind of earning his spot on this team. Unfortunately, he has options. Pache doesn't. Maybe they try to look to move Pache closer to the deadline, but you're just getting some minor league players and freeing up a roster spot. But happy birthday, Cody Clemens. He's given this team a lot to think about.
I know, and it's 28th birthday. My apologies.
28.
Yes, so he's a little bit older. He's nearing 30. Listen, what I love about this is much like we talked about with Spencer Turnbull, yet another situation where you're bringing a guy in as just a replacement, as a call up because you have injuries. And much like with Spencer Turnbull now working his way in, Cody Clemens is honestly giving us a lot to think about. He's played, I saw it's been 8 games, 19 at-bats. He's had 7 RBIs. He's had 2 home runs. We've seen him he's the emergency catcher. We've seen him get the first pinch hit of the season. Cody Clemens has done a really good job of really making the most of his time. And that's all you can ask for. You get called up, you get a chance, and you give the people something to remember, something positive to remember, more importantly. So the fact that we have had a chance to see Cody every single game now, he's consistently giving you something. And he gives you really good at-bats, and he makes the simple plays. He's steady.
And he's left-handed, which is a huge plus.
Another positive.
They don't have that on the bench, yeah.
So to have another piece around the edge, another depth piece that can deliver if needed, really does give you something to think about for the future of, obviously the fact that Pache, you can't move him down without, you can't move him down.
You'll lose him if you put him on waivers.
Exactly. Yeah. So that does make it a little bit more interesting because you have to finesse the system.
Yeah, Cody might just be going up and going down based on injuries until the roster expands later in the season. We'll see. But the kid is, I think he's a major league player, and he's really stepped up. He had a great spring. He's gone down and up now twice already and stepped up in big spots both times. So happy birthday to Cody Clemens. And you're making Roger a Phillies fan. So that's kind of cool. So the Phillies and Mets now are coming back home for a two-game Coward series in Philadelphia after 2 in New York. And now Tyler has a good note here. And Oz, if you can throw yourself on the screen and read it for the people, because apparently my eyes and the lights today are just like really giving me a hard time.
You're really struggling today, aren't you?
No.
Yeah. Do I have cataracts?
You might.
I think I need to go smoke some weed.
Can you see me? Am I in there? Do I need
there
to be there?
Tyler, hello.
Do you want me to maneuver myself around here?
Hello, Tyler.
It's not you, it's him.
Each of the last 2 nights,
and
I think that this proves a point that the Phillies are just winning games in whatever fashion they need to.
Yeah.
Each of the last 2 nights, the Phillies were beaten pretty thoroughly in expected batting average. Now, expected batting average, is a computer-generated stat that takes into account exit velo, flight trajectory, where the ball was hit, who it was hit, and all that kind of stuff. But the last 2 nights, the Phillies had a 229 and a 253 expected batting average in these games. They won both.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, they probably shouldn't have won either of those in reality. No, I shouldn't say that about yesterday because Aaron Nola was spectacular. First night,
you can't win if you don't score. So
sure, the first night, you really should not have won that game. I mean, Edwin Diaz hasn't blown a save like that since 2021, but they are the Mets. And now they're coming back to Philadelphia. So tonight's game is going to be our sweet, dear, adorable Ranger. And he's going to be facing off against a guy making his debut start this year, Joey Lucchesi. I did it, guys.
Good job.
I did it.
Woo! You might not be able to see, but you can read.
Lucchesi, or as his baseball reference page says, his nickname is Joey Fuego. So Joey Fuego making his debut start, going into a buzzsaw that is Ranger Suarez. He pitched pretty well last year in 9 starts, but he has to face Ranger tonight. And guess what? I like the Phillies odds because you have maybe arguably one of the hottest 3 pitchers in baseball. You're returning home, which we talked about. It's a playoff atmosphere down there every night. JT Realmuto is going to be back behind the dish tonight, so we don't have to watch Garrett Stubbs. That's a plus. Bryce Harper is going to play. So I just like the Phillies coming back. You're not only getting the hometown shot of adrenaline, but you're getting 2 of your stars returning to the lineup, plus Ranger. I'll look up the BetPark's odds, but I like the Phil's odds tonight.
Yeah, so Joseph George Lucchesi, to go by Joey Fuego, it's time to put that fire out. That's quite a bold nickname, I will say. As a nickname,
sounds like
savant,
a nickname he himself.
I'm gonna give myself the title of being the nickname pro. I don't like this nickname. First of all, it doesn't make sense.
When George was trying to name himself T-Bone.
It's also
he's like, guys, call me Joey Fuego. I'm throwing gas out
and like
there.
Where and why and no. But for Joey Fuego to make his debut at Citizens Bank Park tonight, which regardless of what the weather's gonna look like, is gonna be loud. Everyone's gonna be excited to welcome the Phillies back. Especially with how they started off this week with the first 2 games against the Mets. And you have a Joey not on Fuego, no Fuego, who comes into the day with...
How do you say freeze in Spanish? Do you know?
Well, you can say I don't know actually, but Frio is cold. So we're going to call him Joey Frio.
Okay, Joey Frio.
Joey Frio. Yeah. Joey Cold.
All right.
Who comes into today with a career ERA
Do you know what ice is?
No. It's been a little while.
No, Renee.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I don't remember.
All right, anyway.
Are you looking up ice in Spanish?
Yeah.
You're not going to say that?
Hilo? Yellow?
I think it's Herro.
Yellow?
Hilo?
Joey Hilo?
I just like Joey Frio. Let's go with Joey Frio.
All right, we're workshopping here. We're spitballing.
Yeah, we're trying, but the point is it's Joey No. Not a good nickname, I should say. So a 4.07 ERA in his 79 games he's played, and has pitched for over 380 innings. But he gets his debut today against the Phillies, and you're going up against a team that's rolling.
Buzzsaw.
You're going up against a team that has Ranger, who's trying to defend his undefeated start. You're going up against a team that is, something about starting cold at this point in the season, even though it is mid-May compared to like the rolling Phillies. I'm thinking I'm going to give an early prediction. I know you didn't even ask me, Jamie, but I'm going to say like he's out in 4 innings.
All right. Welcome to hell, Joey.
Yeah, I think we're going to see him in and out.
Yeah. But yeah, you got to like the Phillies odds. And then tomorrow they get Taijuan Walker on the mound versus Jose Quintana. Some career numbers versus Lucchesi for the Phillies. Not many guys have actually faced him. Here's the guys that have faced him, and it's not pretty. Kyle Schwarber 0 for 5 against him. Hoffman 0 for 3. Hoffman. I took this from Phillies Tailgate, so Hoffman. Jeff Hoffman?
Getting at bats?
Faced him?
In this economy?
Wait, what's happening here?
JT Realmuto 0 for 3. Bryce Harper is a whopping 1 for 1, and Alec Boehm 0 for 1. So not a lot of experience.
It's okay.
Versus Joey Frio. So hopefully they jump him regardless. Now, Thursday night, you're going to see a familiar face at the ballpark promoting the London series, because the reason this was a 2-game home and home, as we said the other day, was the London series, each team is getting a home game. Mm-hmm. So it's a 3-game series. You're basically, for travel days, just doing the 2-game series here. Now, on Thursday night, there's going to be a famous catcher receiving the ceremonial first pitch. That is going to be the man, the myth, the legend. Chase Utley is going to be catching a ball, which is going to be thrown by Apollo and Fire from Gladiators, UK's biggest TV show of 2024, in honor of the upcoming London series. Now, England's biggest TV show was Gladiators? Like, I guess you can't call it American Gladiators.
Okay.
Is it Gladiators like American Gladiators? I would imagine with names like Apollo and Fire.
It sounds
like American Gladiators. So
but is it London?
Is Sam in the chat? Sam, speak up for your country. What's going on over here?
Speak up for your country.
Where are you, Sam?
I don't know if Sam in the chat. I do see we've got Trevor. We've got a lot of folks in the chat.
Do you think
Hinky process?
Do you think Fire's going to throw gas at Utley?
Trevor, Patrick, Matt, Scott. I don't see Sam, but I do see a lot of others.
Jeff Hoffman does have
3 at bats,
77 career at bats.
Are 3 of them versus Joey Lucchesi?
He has 10 hits.
Wow, that's not bad.
He's a 130 career hitter.
Phillies Tailgate was all over that one. Jeff Hoffman, I believe, now faced him 3 times.
3 career RBIs, 1 extra base hit.
Can we get him in that bat today?
31 strikeouts.
If I wanted to watch pitchers hit, I would just watch Garrett Stubbs. I'm sorry.
You really don't like Garrett Stubbs?
No, it's not that I don't like him. He seems like a great guy. I can't get over the pool comments.
That's fair.
I can't shake it.
Yeah. So like, I feel like now you had those people that they make that one comment,
and it's hard to come back from.
Everything that they say or do for you, like,
yeah. I'm sorry, it's a me issue.
It just takes you back to the pool comment.
Yeah, it takes me back to defend the pool.
That's valid,
and we're gonna celebrate the pool.
I've noticed every time we talk about him, and I just feel like you're not into the hype anymore. Like you're over him. The whole vibes guy DJ
kind of
in the clubhouse with the overalls and no shirt.
So Rich in the morning email said something like that I completely agree with, which is the backup catcher is kind of a thing you never think about.
Yeah.
And Rich even said like he's almost testing my patience now at this point too. And I'm like at that point too where it's just like, okay, I mean, I know it's not an important position and you're kind of there for like the looseness, but like I'm over the love for him. Like he's an automatic out, and it's just not fun to watch.
Yeah.
So luckily,
Plus, also,
JT.
we had to see him 3 days in a row.
Yeah, JT's back. Hopefully, we can go back to forgetting about Garrett Stubbs again.
Yeah.
And just move on. But yeah, it'll be cool to see Utley back in the ballpark on Thursday. You know, the MLB ambassador to England, and he's been living over there, so he's here to promote the series, and that'll be cool.
He's been wanting to apparently get more involved with the Phillies, but doesn't want to leave the UK. So I guess this is a great way to marry the two, to have him involved with the team.
I've heard whispers.
Yeah, they've been trying to get him more and more involved. But Jamie, before I tell the good people about some of our friends outside of here, there's some questions in the chat. There's some comments that I wanna address, because you guys are, you're also bringing the vibes. Always happy to have you here. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button while you're in the comment. Let me start at the top, because there was some question about K-Red always brings the fashion fits. Like, he's all about the fits that we wear on the show. And so they're wondering if you have flip-flops on today. And,
no, with the rain day, I went clogs.
Yeah,
my dirty, old, busted-up clogs.
And then also we had, is it still Trevor Rice with a great question for you? Is it still a coward series if they play 4 games in a row between 2 locations? The 2 and done you can see, but this is really a 4-game series now.
Any even number series is a coward series. 2, 4, 6, 8.
Who do we appreciate?
I knew that was coming. Any even number series is a coward series, because it doesn't by default declare a winner.
Fair.
Anything where you can split evenly is a waste of time. We need winners and losers.
Matt Decker said he lost that bet because he didn't imagine that you were, I guess, wearing shoes. And then also Brian J. Falzone is mentioning, WTF. What the F do you mean Stubbs is an auto out? He's the only person on our team that actually knows how to bunt. We did see him successfully lay down a bunt. There's a positive.
So the Phillies,
there's a positive.
This was, again, I'm going to Rich's email a lot today because it was very informative, and you should sign up for it. There was a stat that the Phillies were 1 of 19 with runners in scoring, 1 for their last 19 at one point with runners in scoring position, and the 1 run did come on the Garrett Stubbs bunt. So you're right. I am being a little too harsh. I'll drop it. JT's back, so I won't talk about him anymore.
Yeah.
But while he was here getting my face rubbed in it, I wasn't having a good time, and I don't think anybody was. So that's all.
It is a little bit, you like to see him in small doses once in a while, not 3 games in a row.
Every once in a while.
Yeah, so that part of it does make complete sense. And then, yes, as you were mentioning, Matthew H., I do not like the nickname, and I'm clowning a nickname of Joey Fuego. It's Joey Frio. Hace frio. But you know where you can be fuego and make sure to block out the haters? That's with Shady Rays. Shady Rays, as we are hopefully getting some sunshine sometime soon. But you know what? It doesn't even have to be sunny to wear your Shady Rays. You can wear them all around the clock, all types of weather, any day, anytime. You can get ready for the season ahead with quality shades that are built to last with our friends over at Shady Rays. They've got you covered, quite literally, with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. And that's always great, to save money and also be able to buy something that looks good. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers world-class products rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people, guys. Over 300,000 people have said that they love Shady Rays, given them a 5-star review, and reviews matter. We love looking at reviews in this day and age. They also have shades that are adorable, which, as somebody that does a really bad job of keeping up with my sunglasses, it's very important to have sunglasses with durable frames, crystal clear optics, and that allow you to have the perfect options for any of your outdoor adventures. With Shady Rays, they also make sure to protect you by providing you with a chance to help you replace your shades. If at any point you need to exchange them for a new pair, you have the return worry-free within 30 days. So there's no risk when you're shopping at Shady Rays. You get great shades, you get the coverage, you get the protection, and their team always has your back and provides personal and fast support. So exclusively for our listeners today, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of this season. That's right, guys. You can head on over to shadyrays.com and use code PHLY for 35% off your polarized sunglasses. You can try them also for yourself and try out the shades that are rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people over at Shady Rays. Blocking out the haters with some Shady Rays. Check them out today, guys, at shadyrays.com. And again, that's code PHLY for 35% off your polarized sunglasses.
Yeah, and if you want to take that 35% off your saving with Shady Rays and roll it right into the BetPark Sportsbook, It's not a bad idea to do. It's the hometown sports book. It's the one we recommend here at PHLY. And we were talking about that Phillies game. The Phillies on the money line tonight with our boy Ranger on the bump. Minus 195. If you want to grab them on the run line, you can get minus 1.5 at plus 115. But they have tons of action. Same game parlays, player props, live bets in the moment. And then the NBA is kicking back up tonight. You got the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Celtics. Celtics are a 14.5-point favorite. The Mavericks and Thunder are back at it with the Oklahoma City Thunder as a 4-point home favorite. But they got tons of action. You got PGA Championship coming up this weekend, NHL playoffs, tons of stuff going on. EPL this weekend. Arsenal and Man City are in an absolute dogfight to see who's going to take home the league crown. So whatever the action is you're looking for, BetParks has got you covered. Money is in the moments. You win big with all-day action. Win your first $10 bet and earn $125 in sports bonus bets. You play for fun. You love to win. You win with BetParks. Download the app and play along. Must be 21 or older. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. We will be joined by Tyler Kepnar from The Athletic in a little less than 10 minutes, and really looking forward to talking some of the national storylines around Major League Baseball this year with him. Hometown guy, obviously loves his Phillies. So we'll talk to him in a little bit. But there was a couple things online that took off overnight. I guess Atlanta and the Braves, Matt Olson's starting to come out of his little slump, and I do that in air quotes for you podcast listeners. Atlanta's really, really good, and we always kind of throw them their bouquets. But now Braves fans seem on the offensive about the Phillies' strength of schedule. And, only one team is over 500, not taking into account, the fact that the Phillies put the Padres and Mets and some of these other teams under 500. That's irrelevant to the storyline. Facts aren't important in these things, Renee. So Rich, in his morning newsletter, just pointed out a couple things I thought were apt to talk about in this stupid discussion about the Phillies should be playing tougher teams that aren't on their schedule. You can only play, as you know, Renee, the teams that are on your schedule. It's pretty simple.
Argue with the league and demand they change your schedule to only play teams that have a winning record?
At the end of the year, the Mets and the Braves are going to play pretty much the same teams. Ew, what is that, coffee? Pretty much the same teams that the Phillies played. That's the way a schedule works. It's pretty wild. So a couple things Rich pointed out in his morning newsletter. The Phillies have a plus 67 run differential. It's second in baseball by a good bit. The regular season Dodgers might as well not count, Rich said. So it's not like the Phillies are 2023 Eagles and eating it up. Their record in those one-run games is quite good. I would say plus 67 run differential is a positive for the Phillies. Renee, would you agree?
Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Seems pretty good.
Yeah. And also, I think that's what it comes, something that we've talked about we've noticed is the Phillies aren't just beating teams, like are shutting out teams. It's over pretty early, and you never feel nervous. You can look at a game like Monday.
No, John said it yesterday. You wake up expecting the Phillies to win.
Right, like Monday's game, even when they were down, I was like, they're going to win this. Sunday, I was even like, they're going to win this. Like, they're at a point now where you are surprised if they lose. So, yeah.
Rich's next point, the National League has 5 teams with a winning record. 5. So a lot of baseball is mediocre. Would you like them to just pick out those 5 teams and make a new schedule? Those 5 teams, excluding the Phillies, are the Dodgers, the Braves, the Cubs, and the Brewers. That's it. Who would you like them to play above 500? Stupid point. Excellent point by Rich. Third, he says, the Phillies' remaining strength of schedule is not a gauntlet by any means. It's the 13th toughest in baseball per Tankathon. Basically a very average strength of schedule. It's not the hardest. It's not the easiest. The excuse making is getting out of control from the Braves fans.
Well, is
it that hard to say the Phillies are just a good team?
They're good. And listen, when the Braves are, like, when you look at the last couple seasons, when the tables are turned, as Phillies fans, we've said, oh, wow, the Braves are good. The Phillies are trying to catch them. They've dug themselves in a hole because they started slowly. But when you look at the standings, I know we talked about this before, as mentioned, only 5 teams in the NL that are over 500, 12 teams total. It's actually dropped. Last time we had this conversation, I think it was like 14 teams that were over 500. It's dropped. There are only 12 teams currently, as of this moment today, on this Wednesday at 11:25 a.m. Eastern Time, that are over 500.
That means 7 in the AL.
Right.
That's good math.
That's great math. I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
Jamie, good job. And one of those 12 teams
you know how I got there?
is
7 plus 5 is 12.
Wow. How about those numbers? Oh boy.
I did that on the fly.
You didn't do the Common
nothing.
Core math. You've got to take 3 from 10
your TI
and add
84.
2.
Can I be honest here for a second?
Oh,
the
no.
fact that the children are learning new math now, I am horrified.
It's bad.
At trying to teach my children math. I don't
They
understand.
They don't teach addition, multiplication, any of that the same way. It's
I'm in
completely
trouble.
PEMDAS is gone, or PEMDAS.
Yeah, I was
going to
say PEMDAS.
Excuse me. PEMDAS, excuse me. It's been a while. Even
scared.
TI-84s, you remember those calculators we all had to buy?
Oh, I still have
one. Not a thing anymore.
It's in my drawer where I keep my stamps
because it was
and
expensive,
envelopes.
so you had to keep it. Like textbooks, all that, it's gone. But the Phillies are one of those 12 teams that are over 500. So there's math you don't need a calculator for. So who are they supposed to play? Are they not supposed to play games because everybody else is 500 or less?
Yeah.
Are they supposed to? The man in the league gives them different matchups. And also, you look at how the league is going, and I know you have a note on the Rockies. The Rockies are on a winning streak. Like it's only May. It's very unpredictable. The Rockies have won 6 games in a row. They've made history as like the first team that in the beginning of their season hadn't won 2 games in a row, I think it was, and they now have won 6 games in a row because there's a stat for everything and a record for everything. And so they're like the first team to go on a 6-game winning record that hasn't won 2 back-to-back games prior. But the point is, this league is so up and down. The Oakland A's, who would have thought they'd be beating teams? They beat the Orioles. So should the Orioles go complain and say they weren't allowed to play the Oakland A's?
It was unfair that we got the A's during a hot streak.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
Can't schedule them during a hot streak with us.
So many things to complain about all the time. Yeah.
And then Rich's final point is he says, and the Phillies deserve credit for smoking the average teams out there. San Diego was 1 game below 500. Phillies swept them on the road. Washington, another one of these young pesky teams, 1 game below 500. Phillies took 2 or 3 on the road. The Mets are 3 games under 500, and they just took 2 from them in New York. So, these are all road wins that Rich is pointing out.
They have 4 sweeps on the season.
The Phillies are just good.
What is it now? This is the 12th series. Well, technically, yesterday counts as a sweep, right?
Yeah, it's a coward 2-game series.
So we can say 5 sweeps now.
Sure.
And
I have no problem with that. I'm not going to fight you.
I mean, we'll take more sweeps, and they're actually winning the games they're supposed to win. Give credit for that. They could have easily gone out and played down, quote unquote, to the competition. Instead, they're shutting them out. They're winning games. They're winning series, and they're forcing teams like the Mets to have to do things like call up Mark Vientos and DFA Joey Wendell. We're seeing them get after teams and create havoc and win games.
And when you hear stupid discourse online about your favorite team, sometimes it makes you want to go to the fridge and grab a Miller Lite just to mute out the stupidity that you can hear online. And Miller Lite has stood the test of time, the original light beer, since 1975, and to this day, still the best one. It's my official beer of the golf course because I can walk around with it. I'm not going to get that full feeling from it, and it's just clean, cold, and refreshing. Whether you're at a Phillies game, hanging out with friends and family at the house or in the backyard or down the beach, it's about to be beach season, Memorial Day next weekend. Get those Miller Lites ready for you because everybody loves a Miller Lite because it's the original beer drinkers light beer, and still, to this day, it's the best one. It strips away everything you don't need and holds on to what matters most. And to me, it's as simple as a cold beer that tastes like a beer should taste. Very simple. No frills. Less filling and only 96 calories. You don't have to choose what's best because Miller Lite has great taste and is less filling. Tastes like Miller time. To get Miller Lite delivered directly to your door, go to MillerLite.com/PHLY or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.
Yeah, and I know as we're talking about some great opportunities to make sure that you're taking care of business winning the game you're supposed to win, getting those wins. You know where else you can get those wins? Over at Rite Aid. That's wins to protect you and your family. That's one of the most important ones. Making sure that you have all the details that you need on the latest around vaccines. Rite Aid wants to make sure that if you have any questions about vaccines, you can stop in and ask their Rite Aid pharmacists that are specially trained to help you, providing you an opportunity to ask any questions you have, get the support that you need, and make sure that you have all the information you need to protect you and your loved ones, and especially your littles. So with Rite Aid pharmacists, they can vaccinate for shingles, pneumonia, COVID, chickenpox, whooping cough, tetanus, and others as well. And it's really important that you take advantage of the opportunity to talk to those trained professionals, get the information you need, and make sure that you're feeling good and protected. So over at Rite Aid, they've got the vaccines, they've got over-the-counter medication for allergy season, they've got snacks and drinks, and they've got the last-minute things you may need, such as if you need to go buy a birthday card for Cody Clemens, you can go to Rite Aid to get that card for Cody, for the emergency catcher of the Phillies. So at Rite Aid, they've got everything you need. I always love being able to have an opportunity to go there and take advantage of their great prices, their great deals, the great things that they have as a Rite Aid Rewards member as well. And you also can check out at those select Rite Aid stores the opportunity, as mentioned, to talk to that dedicated pharmacist that's ready to administer vaccines and answer all of your questions. If you have any immunization or vaccination questions, they will be able to make sure that you're up to date, that you're not feeling nervous. Don't feel nervous to ask questions. There's no such thing as a bad question. And a Rite Aid pharmacist will take the time to make personalized recommendations based on your health history and discuss any concerns. No questions are too small. Just walk in or schedule an appointment Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. State, age, and health restrictions may apply, and you can ask a Rite Aid pharmacist for details to make sure to take advantage of all the great benefits at Rite Aid, especially their vaccinations you can get from their specially trained pharmacists over at Rite Aid.
All right, excited to bring in our next guest here. If you're a baseball fan, you might know him. There he is in his bird shirt. Love to see it.
Yes.
I would say, Tyler, I hope your LinkedIn profile, you've written books, you've covered Major League Baseball. All that stuff is great and all, but you might be the sickest immaculate grid man I've ever seen in my life. I hope that's the lead of your LinkedIn.
Yeah, I actually don't have a LinkedIn, but I appreciate you saying that because I lost it today. I guessed a 6-WAR Minnesota Twin who played for the Senators way back in the 30s, and he didn't quite get 6-WAR. Heine Manouche, but what are you gonna do?
How could you miss that
Heine
one?
Manouche. It's hard. I should have gone Goose Gosselin. I'll be regretting it until tomorrow morning.
I know that game just tortures my brain, and I honestly don't like it because I don't like the torture it put me through.
And now I'm curious though, Tyler, do you have one specific person or answer that you remember that really even surprised you, that was like, whoa, this is next level even for myself? Like you surprised yourself a little bit?
Yeah, well, sometimes there's stuff buried back in the brain. You have no idea why it just pops right in there. Like it's and then sometimes you'll have to think about it for a while. But like certain players, I don't know. I know their teams. There's a guy, he was a Phillies reliever in the mid 80s named Dave Rucker, and nobody remembers him. And he pitched for Detroit and the Cardinals and the Phillies and the Pirates. And whenever one of those team combinations come up, I just use him, and he gets this amazing score because like nobody remembers him. He was decent. He was good, in the 80s, but some guys just nobody remembers, so they're guaranteed to get low scores.
Yeah, and if you're unfamiliar with Tyler, he does a great job writing on The Athletic. He has several books out on baseball, including a history of baseball in 10 pitches. So definitely get familiar if you're unfamiliar with him. One of the great baseball scribes out there. Now, Tyler, we were just having the conversation before this because Braves fans and some other fans online are trying to discredit the Phillies' soft schedule to start the year. You can only play who's in front of you. You're a hometown guy, love the Phillies. What do you make of their hot start and the stupid discourse about the strength of schedule?
Yeah, I mean, the strength of schedule is there. I mean, you can't, you can only play who you play. So, what are you supposed to do when you're playing bad teams? They're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. And I was out there yesterday, and to see Nola pitch complete game shutout, and the team is down, 3 of their big stars in the lineup, and they still find a way to scratch out 4 runs and win the game, and the night before they're down in the 9th inning to one of the great closers, and they find a way to win that one too. So they're finding ways to win in situations when whoever the competition is, they shouldn't win, or they should have, they should struggle. And that's the sign of a really, really good team, a team that just feels like winning is what they do. And it's making for, I think, an even more fun season, in the sense that, like, you're not in this big hole that you're not going to get out of, and just figuring, like, well, we'll get the wild card and see how it goes in the playoffs. Like, they're a big dog now. They don't have to give any ground to the Braves because of this start. It's the exact opposite of the last couple of years, and I think that's what every Phillies person and Phillies fan was hoping for.
That's a great point that you bring up about how they're winning, because it's the birthday guy of the day, Cody Clemens, Christian Pache, Johan Rojas, a.k.a. Yo-Ro. It's, the bottom of the batting order. It's Whit Merrifield. And we've even seen, obviously, the last 2 days, it was Bryson Stott and Alec Boehm who continued to do well, while Bryson Stott much needed getting over the hump a bit. But it's not Bryce Harper. It's not Trey Turner, who's out with a hamstring injury. It's not Kyle Schwarber. It's a different guy every day. And a lot of times it's some of those smaller names, even Garrett Stubbs getting the bunt, that are stepping up to be able to help them score runs and win games. What do you make of the depth of this team and the ability for them to have that next man up mentality to grind out these wins? Because on the outside, it's an easy schedule. But we know internally, watching this team, the way they're winning, they're getting a lot of guys, major confidence builders, big moments, big opportunities, and they're shining and thriving in that.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, Dave Dombrowski has done a really good job, and his staff of strengthening the edges of the roster. So when you get a situation like yesterday with some guys hurt, you have guys who step in and are versatile guys too, right? A Whit Merrifield is so helpful because he can play all over the place. Cody Clemens plays multiple positions. So these are guys who can, you don't just plug them into one spot. You can go all over the place. They haven't been tested in their rotation depth, and that's probably the biggest reason that they're winning, is that they've had 5 starters healthy all year, and now 6 with the Taijuan Walker's back, and the guy who he replaced was Spencer Turnbull, who was doing terrific. So their starters, we all know, have been the biggest reason that they've been this good. And you just want them to stay healthy and keep rolling like this, because if you can, pretty much any team, if you can get your 5 intended starters to make all their starts, or pretty much close to it, you're going to win a lot of games. And I'll include the Phillies in that, because Turnbull was so good while Walker was out, and now Walker's back. So that's been the biggest part, and their depth really hasn't been tested too much there beyond Turnbull, who did a great job.
Yeah, and one of those guys is on the mound tonight, and that's Ranger Suarez, Tyler. And it's remarkable what he's doing this year. And the other guy, look, I know they don't give out Cy Youngs on May 15th, but Shota Imanaga for the Chicago Cubs. They're probably the 2 most deserving guys as of today when we're talking. And one of the big conversations around baseball is the pitching elbow problem, velocity. Paul Skeens is coming up, throwing over 17 times over 100 miles an hour. But Ranger Suarez and Shota Imanaga are both like guys throwing 92, 93, and kind of being crafty pitchers with an arsenal of pitches. Is there becoming a stronger case? I don't know if stronger case is the right way to say it, but is there becoming another way to view starting pitchers in this modern era, where you don't need to go bust your elbow throwing 98 to 100 miles an hour all the time?
Yeah, well, yes and no. I mean, I think if you can throw that hard, you're going to throw that hard. It's just kind of the way that baseball is now. But I think there is, and there should be, an openness to looking at starters who can still be really effective at a little bit of a lower level, because, like they always say, right, the best ability is availability. And if you're not out there, you're not helping the team. So, you get all these guys, these phenoms, these hard throwers, and you think, well, you're going to lose a year or two to injury, and it happened with Zach Wheeler as a young pitcher with the Mets. He missed 2 full years until he got to the point where he's physically healthy and durable, and teams can rely on him. But he has that in his background too. It just happens to a lot of young guys. So luckily the Phillies right now seem like they're in a really good spot, and it is fun to watch Ranger. That change up from a lefty reminds me a lot of Hamels. And that's always something good to think about for Phillies fans.
Yeah, I mean, as we saw yesterday with Aaron Nola throwing the complete game shutouts, that's the second. Of course, Ranger Suarez did it earlier this season, the second this season for the Phillies, whereas all of Major League Baseball has thrown in total 3 complete game shutouts. I mean, this pitching staff, the ERA, the things that they're accomplishing, obviously the team as a whole, but especially it starts with the pitching, the starting pitching at that, has been remarkable. They've been compared to some of the best that we've seen. I know you mentioned Hamels. They've been compared to 2011 and some of the best teams that we've seen over the years for the Phillies. Where do they stack up for you? It is only mid-May, but so far from what you've seen, where does this pitching staff really compare, and what do you think is the ceiling for this season for them?
Well, as you say, yeah, it's only a quarter of the year gone by, but it can't have gone any better so far from a team standpoint, and especially the rotation. So I think right now, they have to be considered the number 1 rotation in baseball. I don't think that's too much of a reach. Although you look at the Dodgers, and when they get everybody healthy and they have meaning that when they get Kershaw back, they would have Glasnow and Yamamoto and Kershaw, Buehler, and James Paxton, who's been really good. So that's another good one. Seattle's got a really good young rotation, and they're doing some really good things, although they don't hit that well as a team. So there are others out there, but I think the Phillies right now are the best, and they've been really, really consistent and steady every time through. It's been fun to watch. Even the other night when Sanchez didn't really have it, he walks in the run, and then he immediately clicks in and strikes out 3 guys on 9 pitches. So, even when they get into trouble, they seem like they have a way of finding their way out of it.
Yeah, Tyler, you recently did a piece on The Athletic, which I loved, which was ranking the executives and the front offices around baseball. One, Alex Anthopoulos, if he hits gold with Chris Sale and he makes it through a whole season, throw that man in prison. But from your takeaway of doing this story, what is your impression about the Phillies front office around baseball? Because, they've taken some serious strides ever since Dave Dombrowski has gotten here, from not only strengthening the minor leagues to making major league moves that have panned out, and they've developed guys with Caleb Cotham. What was your impression of the Phillies front office in doing that piece around baseball?
Yeah, thanks. That was the piece myself and a few other guys were able to sort of combine our reporting and throughout spring training, just sort of asking every executive that we could see, just anonymously, but give me the 5 best front offices, the 5 front offices you think do it the best. And the Phillies weren't in the top 5, but they came up now and then. And people really do have a respect for what Dombrowski does, because Dave doesn't really mess around. He's very direct. He knows what he wants, and he is the perfect kind of GM for this team and this owner at this moment. Dave is good at, obviously he's good at spending money, but he believes in stars, and he believes in the value of stars and paying for them. And we see that in the roster, but it's also more than that. He's really good at roster construction. Again, as I said, on the margins, which Pat Gillick was really great at too. And sometimes you need an experienced hand to come in and sort of get the team over the hump of the finish line. I mean, they've already been to the World Series. They should have gone last year. They're 1 game away, and they're doing great this year. So Dombrowski has gotten it over the line. I mean, Matt Klentak and his group did do some good things. I don't think that should be forgotten. But we see it a lot where a certain front office will get a team to a point, and then you need another one to kind of get it to where you really want it to go. So Dombrowski has done a great job utilizing Middleton's resources and building up that roster with the group he has there with Sam Fold and the analytics staff and the scouting staff. They've all done a good job, and you see that a lot of the draft picks have been hitting, and they've traded the right guys too. They traded Sixto Sanchez. He's been hurt for most of his time with Miami to get Real Muto. When they signed Real Muto, they traded Ohapi, who's a good prospect, but that brought in Marsh, who kind of rearranged the character of that defense for the Phillies, and he got something out of Moniak, even if it was just a half season of starts from Syndergaard. So he's made a lot of really I think sharp moves. We see Clemens came in last year, and he's been a useful Swiss Army knife. Turnbull has been a good pickup. So most of Dave's moves I think have made a lot of sense.
Yeah, and it definitely it's just great to see how this club has come together. And this season right now feels like a combination of, for the Phillies, the right mixture of talent, where guys are in their career. And so my last question for you is just to take a step back. I know a lot of us, we all had our predictions coming into the season. How many games will the Phillies win? How many games will, each team win? Who's going to be top of the division? And a lot of people expected the Phillies to be around that 92 to 95 sweet spot. I'm curious to know, how have your predictions so far panned out? We were talking about this before the show. Some of us in the room, I won't say names, had like the Astros, for example.
I said the Yankees weren't going to make the playoffs.
Some people said the Yankees weren't going to make the playoffs. So I'm curious to know, so far, it is still very early. It is still very early, obviously. But so far, how have your predictions panned out? And is there a team that's still a sleeper that you feel like is going to emerge as the season progresses? We never know how injuries are going to pan out. We never know who's going to slump when. But on this May, what is it, the 15th? I'm curious to know kind of your thoughts on so far predictions and any sleepers that you still are keeping an eye on.
Yeah, I didn't think Houston would win the division. Actually, I thought Seattle would, and they're right up there in first place. I thought Seattle would hit better though, so I've been a little disappointed in that. They might have to go fix that a little bit. But they're off to a good start, a fine start. I thought Kansas City would get better. I didn't think they'd be right there in first place or on the edge of first place. I think they are in first place now, or maybe a half game out. Just because the idea that, they lost 106 games last year, so even if they improve by 20, they're still going to lose 86. And they might, but Kansas City's off to a really, really nice start in the AL Central. So that's a little bit of a sleeper. I think, again, I thought they'd made progress, but not really contend. And I didn't think Cleveland would be this good either, because they didn't do anything to address their offense. But they've been good even without their ace Shane Bieber. So those are a couple of teams that come to mind. I thought Arizona would be a little better. I saw last October. I think there's still time for them to figure things out and get healthy. But yeah, those are some. And honestly, I didn't expect the Phillies to be the first team to win 30 games. I mean, I thought they'd be very good, but to be the best team in baseball right now, that's probably a little more than I thought. Although I did pick them, to represent the NL and play the Mariners in the World Series. So that's still in play.
Yeah. Well, Tyler, we can't thank you enough. And on your way out, I do have to. Is that like a Snuggie? Is it a loose fitting hoodie? What are you rocking here?
Yeah, it's some kind of hoodie I got. Like, it's like a long sleeve hoodie thing. So it's one of these weird spring days here where it's like rainy, but kind of warm a little bit. So you want to wear something light.
So how are we feeling about the Birds after the draft? Do you extreme positives? You feeling good about the season upcoming?
Yeah. I always someone just asked me that at the coffee shop, and I'm like, I always just figure they're going to win the Super Bowl, and then just prepare to be excited or ride that wave, man. Because I know I've watched football my whole life. I'm a fan, but I don't know every player on the team and whatnot. But it seems like they're addressing their needs. It seems like they know consistently what they're doing year after year. You worry about some of the guys they're losing, but. Yeah, I'm always optimistic about the Birds until they prove me otherwise.
Yeah, good ownership and a good front office goes a long way in all sports.
Yeah.
And Tyler, we can't thank you enough for joining the show. Give Tyler a follow on Twitter at Tyler Kepnar. He does great work around Major League Baseball for The Athletic, and he's got some books for sale on Amazon and all that. So we appreciate the time. One of our homegrown talents doing well out there in the world. So we appreciate it, Tyler.
Thanks,
All right,
Tyler.
guys. Happy to join. All right. Have a great day.
See you later. There he is. Fun baseball discussion. And probably could have talked to him for an hour because I had a couple more questions up the sleeve. But when you kind of get punch drunk on Philly's success and,
Are you okay,
Tell
by
me
the
about
way?
Ranger. Ranger's good, right? Tell me about it.
Are you okay? I know Voldemort was brought up. Are you all right?
Voldemort? What? I thought we don't speak his name.
Yeah, we don't.
What?
The Voldemort of the Phillies in your eyes, Mr. Stubbs.
Oh.
I know in the chat they were saying how you were possibly cringing. They were checking on you. Also want to check on our guys in the chat. Speaking of which, I'm assuming you're okay.
I've never really seen the Harry Potter start to finish.
Okay. We're not going to have
My
this chat
sister
right
is
now.
a diehard. Like,
I love Harry Potter.
the Easter eggs. I know you're a Pottersman too, right?
Not
Pottersman.
particularly.
No?
No, I mean I like them. They're
I love
good.
them.
I don't have any.
No, I'm more
I
of
will
a.
watch them
I'm more of a Lord of the Rings Marvel guy.
Okay.
That's my
I'm
stuff.
more of a Marvel, Harry Potter. Star Trek was on the other day too. Yesterday, by the way.
Star Trek.
Yeah, I'm not a Star Trek person.
Yeah.
Or Star
Can
Wars.
you do it?
No. Psych, I can.
Good joke.
Ha, got him.
Got him. Yeah.
Okay. And then we do have a Braves fan in the chat. Niners all damn day is here.
Yeah, Chris Sale threw another gem last night. Alex Anthopoulos. I think I caught Tyler a little off guard when I said throw Alex Anthopoulos in prison. And he went like, oh. I say that in jest. Obviously, he doesn't deserve jail time.
Yeah.
But Chris Sale went out again last
I
night.
know.
They did it. Like, I know he has to stay healthy and it's a long season, but it's a quarter of the season and Chris Sale looks spectacular. Alex Anthopoulos is really, really good at his job, and it really annoys me because the Braves are just a good organization.
It really annoys me because they keep winning.
Yeah, since the 90s. They just won't go away. There's not like downturns with them. Like, stop being so good. I know it doesn't always result in titles and parades, but like, damn, they're consistent.
They are. It's
really
very
annoying.
annoying. There are those teams, I feel like you just are ready for them to fall. Enough already. The Astros are finally seeming like they're in that. They've, of course, had some more cheating and things come out.
Yeah.
My fantasy team.
By the
Still
way,
120 games left.
I know.
Just
Chris Sale,
give you guys a heads
49 and 2/3 innings so far on the year, 69 strikeouts. His whip is .89 and his ERA is a 2.5. That doesn't seem fair that they were able to just get it.
I know.
We said it at the time. We're like, they're gonna salvage Chris Sale's. Like, he's gonna go down there and get the fountain of youth and stay healthy and be a great pitcher, and it's gonna suck.
By the way, 97th percentile in exit velo, 97th percentile in chase percentage, 84th percentile in whip percentage, 89th percentile in K percentage, 93 in walk percentage. He's not getting barreled. He's not getting hard hit.
You're not helping, Tyler.
He's been incredible.
He's been awesome. Damn it.
I know Greg MC is saying his health in the second half will be much more telling.
Sure.
There are a lot of games left, as we know, but all we know is what we've seen so far. Like, I fully understand it's a long season, but all we can go off of is what we know as of today, May 15th. And as of today, May 15th, he's looking good.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
If he can stay healthy, it is very annoying.
See what we just did? You know, the Braves and their fans and their followers, they're allowed to do the same for the Phillies. And they can say, hey, that Ranger Suarez is really good. You don't have to discredit him.
He did actually say Ranger is a 1.5 ERA and was
Ranger's a
surprised.
beast.
Like, it's okay to give credit where credit's due. You missed Ranger.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's been since what, Friday?
Oh, wow. It has been since Friday.
It's been a long time. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, Renee.
It's been like 4 days, Jamie.
He's been out of my life for 4 whole days.
Oh, okay.
That's 4 sleeps without Sweet Ranger on the mound.
Okay, this is getting weird. This is getting...
Jamie's going to write Ranger
Dear Ranger.
Yeah. I don't throw as hard as you, but I think you'd be impressed by my speed.
Dad? Me neither. Let's have a catch.
No.
It's from It's Always Sunny. I knew you wanted to.
No. Yeah, please stop with the... One day I'll get them.
Restraining order? I don't know. I don't think Ranger's a social media guy. I don't think I really stalk him.
I'm surprised you haven't found someone in his family to stalk.
I'll have to deep dive that one today.
We're going to have a segment that's like the e-news of the Phillies where we just give you guys these random stalkerish updates.
Yeah.
From...
Well, my Nick Castellanos family dog stalking
Yeah.
led to success, like I said,
Once again, he does. I will say yet again, somebody else dies of significance, and Nick Castellanos hits a home run.
Yeah. All right, let's throw a little lasso. A couple stories in Major League Baseball. Juan Soto and my terrible prediction that the Yankees were going to miss the playoffs.
They still could.
They could. It's a long season. We're a quarter of the way through, but I feel like a quarter of the way through is like a pretty decent watermark of who you are as a baseball team. Juan Soto yesterday made MLB history. Now, Tyler, can you tell me if this is good? He passed Mickey Mantle for the.
You could stop. It doesn't matter what the stat is.
I said Mantle weird. Mickey Mantle for the most walks before turning 26 years old.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter what the stat is. When you say past Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, Babe Ruth, Barry Bonds, like those type of names, when you say past or is included with, it doesn't matter what the stat is.
To me, that just says you have a freakish ability of the strike zone.
His approach at the plate is unreal.
Yeah, like you just know what's a ball and what's a strike. And to me, like, damn, that's impressive.
And again, he's only 25 years old. You know, I know.
I think he's 26 in September or August or
October.
something.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of people are wondering long term, is he going to stay with the Yankees? Are they going to be able to afford him? Is a team like the Mets
give him a blank check?
Going to be able to? Yeah, there's some people salivating. I was talking to some Mets fans, and they were like, "We're going to get him next year." People are hopeful. Yeah, but I imagine for the Yankees, you got to be ready to give him everything, like whatever you need. The keys to the city. What do you need? Yankee Stadium. It's yours. Like. Whatever it is, because to have Garrett Cole injured and this Yankee team still be rolling because they had the juggernauts of, Giancarlo, Juan, Aaron, it's fantastic. And again, he's only 25 years old, guys.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. And another Yankees update, Garrett Cole has started throwing bullpen sessions. I think he threw a 27-pitch bullpen session just the other day and apparently felt great afterwards. So, at this point, real quick, I don't think you can see it, Tyler, or the screen can see it if you're familiar with MLB Savant.
Can see
but that is Juan Soto's percentiles.
See all the red.
Pretty much 98 or above on almost every category. So that's pretty good.
Yeah,
99, 98, 99, 100, 96, 97, 99, 97, 94, 95. I would say those are pretty good percentiles to be in. So the Yankees, unfortunately, might get stronger. A little bit of a cheating controversy possibly down in Houston last night because Renee only drafts cheaters on her fantasy baseball team. Ronald Blanco gets his glove confiscated in the game. They obviously check every inning, but apparently there was a lengthened investigation of the glove for 3 straight innings. The umpires then kicked him out of the game, took the glove, confiscated it. Now there's speculation. Dallas Braden, former MLB pitcher, Blanco apparently sweats like a hydrant, according to a lot of the Astros tweets and stuff I was reading last night. Now, Dallas Braden thought that it reeked of a pine tar rosin sweat mixture buildup on the glove. Regardless, baseball always has cheating tied to it. It's the game where you can cheat the most, and people do. Naturally, the assumption when you see the Astros and cheating, you just go, well, they're doing it again. Reality is most teams probably cheat in some way.
To hear that he had, quote, the stickiest stuff I felt on a glove to get ejected.
Is that the quote? The stickiest stuff?
The stickiest. I know, Jamie.
I wasn't even going there, Renee. I was just talking baseball. Get your mind out of the gutter.
No, that's the quote. Quote, that's what the umpire, third base ump, Laz Diaz, ejected Blanco. They said he had, quote, the stickiest stuff I felt on a glove. When they checked it, not good. Listen, Ronald Blanco actually has been doing really well, partly why my fantasy team's been winning. Because, he had the no-hitter. He pitched a complete game. He's been phenomenal. He's gone, in the 47 and a third innings pitched so far before his ejection, he's given up 29 hits, only 11 earned runs, 21 walks, 45 Ks.
It's a lot easier when you're cheating.
But the other thing is, you're on the Astros. You guys are notorious for cheating.
Nobody on the Astros gets a benefit of the doubt.
Never. And why did you think you were going to get away with that? I mean, it's just the Astros are already not doing well. And then you already have the history of cheating. And yes, there's a lot of cheaters across baseball. But if we all had to think of a club that has the most cheaters in recent years, it's the Astros, obviously.
Not even close.
Not even close. So this is not good. This is not good. They said, yeah, I felt something inside the glove. It was the stickiest stuff I felt on a glove since we've been doing this for a few years now.
No, probably not.
Everybody checked the glove to make sure we all had the same thing, and he had to get ejected because he had a foreign substance on his glove.
We'll find out what comes from this. If it was just natural
sticky
sweat.
Fingers get you ejected, guys.
But the team you play for is going to lead people to think you're a filthy cheater again. And then the last piece of news.
Gotta cheat better.
Yeah, just cheat better.
Just don't cheat, guys.
No,
this is baseball.
Baseball is always going to have cheaters.
We don't tolerate cheaters.
The Phillies got caught cheating with Mick Billmeyer like a decade ago. Binoculars in the bullpen. Everybody cheats. It's a part of the game.
No.
Just don't be a dummy about it. Your glove is going to get checked. So when you're rubbing the umpire's face in it, then you're going to get caught. So don't cry when you get caught. Last MLB little nugget out there: the Colorado Rockies. 6 wins in a row. Susie Hunter out in Denver with our DNVR Rockies show. They must be going nuts out there. 6 in a row. Congratulations to our counterparts.
I found the official stat, by the way. The Rockies had not won back-to-back games until mid-May. Today's May 15th. That's now. The Rockies had not won back-to-back games until they went on this winning streak. They went from being obviously last place in the NL West to rattling off 6 wins in a row. So a league high 6 wins in a row as of now. So yeah, the Rockies actually don't sleep on them. This is why when people say teams below 500 aren't blah, 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 blah.
Oh, I'm sleeping on them. They still stink.
Yeah, they still stink.
They're beating teams,
but
though.
Won 6
they
in a
just
row.
won 6 games, and they beat the Rangers.
To win the game.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But guys, lastly, we have to say as we're wrapping up and getting excited for today, we're going to get to see Swaggy V out there. I mentioned it briefly earlier, but the Mets making some offensive moves themselves. He's no Cody Clemens, but they brought up Swaggy V. They have terrible nicknames. They clearly need my help with their nicknames. Mark Vientos, a third baseman that they called up today, and a chance to try to get their offense going a little bit. He was called up from their AAA Syracuse team. They are expected to DFA Joey Wendell. They're offensively struggling, so they brought in Swaggy V to see if they can change things a little bit. So we'll get to see him out there today.
Yeah. Cool. Is he a real person? That does it for us here at the PHLY Phillies podcast. For Tyler Zulli, Renee Washington, myself, Jamie Lynch. Special thank you to Tyler Kepnar from The Athletic for joining us. A hometown
we had Tyler
kid.
Squared on the show, and they're both
2 Tylers.
immaculate grid guys.
And they're both pitcher lovers.
Look at that. They're like the same person.
Yeah, they're basically the same guy. So special thanks to Tyler Kepnar for joining the show. Tomorrow we will be back at 11 a.m. Jim Salisbury is going to join us at 11:30. And then Friday night we'll be doing some post-game duties with our own John Foley. So thanks everybody for tuning in today. Hope you have a great rest of the Thursday. And we will talk to you soon. Tomorrow, that is.
We all silly like the mayor.